My name is John Brewster, and I'm in Mr. Thomas's Social 280 Global Cultures class. And I want to talk about the NBA's marketing strategy to expand overseas. The National Basketball Association is a professional basketball league that is based in the United States that consists of 30 different teams. 29 of the 30 NBA franchises are all located in different major cities in the U.S. except for one team, the Toronto Raptors, who plays in Toronto, Canada. The NBA has been in business since June of 1946 when it was known as the Basketball Association of America. The league adopted the NBA's name in 1949 after it merged with the rival National Basketball League. The league consisted of 8 franchises that were located in small cities at the time. The first franchises that were in the NBA were the New York Knicks, the Boston Celtics, the Warriors, Pistons, 76ers, Hawks, and Kings. Each of the teams are still in the NBA, but some of the teams are located in different cities or states. Out of the 8 teams, the Knicks and the Celtics are the only teams that still play in the same city that they were originated from. During the 1950s, when contracting became prevalent, many organizations that were located in smaller cities moved to bigger cities, such as the Fort Wayne Pistons moving to Detroit, Michigan, and the Tri-City Blackhawks who moved to Milwaukee. Teams saw an opportunity to bring in more money while moving to bigger markets with more people. In 1947, the NBA color barrier was broken when a Japanese American, Wataru Mazaka, played for the New York Knicks. The following year, the NBA was integrated and the league became more of a mixed association after the color barrier was broken. During the 50s, the NBA saw a lot of African Americans begin to get signed by a lot of teams. When the color barrier was broken, the talent got better, so the games were more entertaining. Players such as Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain gave the league a buzz and made it more competitive. The league became more relevant because of this fact, and it was more entertaining to people around America. When the NBA began to get more notoriety, organizations began to move more and more to bigger markets. The Lakers, who were located in Minneapolis at the time, who won 5 championships and was considered to be the league's first dynasty, moved to Los Angeles, California. And the Philadelphia Warriors, who were both known teams at the time, moved to San Francisco. Teams saw more of an opportunity for the franchise to make money. The NBA local strategy started to move toward expanding to bigger cities. Other major cities around the U.S. saw that NBA was going to be assessed and wanted teams. From 1968, the team saw went from 8 teams to 14. Cities like Chicago, Seattle, Milwaukee, and Phoenix saw NBA teams being brought to their cities. The NBA was still a locally driven league when Commissioner David Stern took office. His focus was to make it into a global phenomenon. The NBA started to grow get known around the world. I say around the 1980s and the 1990s. Players such as Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan created a buzz in the sport that was never seen before. The NBA became more relevant to people across all around the world. With the growth of the league and the abundance of the stars in it, the NBA strategy for marketing became easy. Let the stars bring the money in, and let the stars make the NBA the known commodity that it is. The NBA's strategy for marketing is centered around teams and the cities that they play for. Teams open up nice arenas and other attractions around the local areas to fill up seats. The NBA has become one of the biggest and most profitable associations in all sports. When local areas get NBA franchises, it brings money into their area. The NBA is still centered around profit that teams are generating into these areas, but they also want to expand as far as they can. Rice stated that there are 3 major processes that are mentioned under globalization: McDonaldization, Americanization, and capitalism. The NBA has always been centered around generating more and more profit. Like any other sports league, it is driven by capitalism. How they schedule games, head-to-head matchups between players that are popular in the league, All-Star Weekend, which consists of each team, East and West, having the best players on the team, which is one of the most known attractions in sports, are all part of capitalism. It's all generated to bring in more and more revenue to the NBA. The NBA strategy is formed. It falls under the McDonaldization that Reicher talks about in his book. The locally given strategy is still the same concept, but it's just carried out in different locations throughout the U.S. The experience in every arena is just about the same, sort of like McDonald's. When you go to McDonald's, you pay for your food. When you go to the game, you pay for your ticket. You sit there, you enjoy your food. You sit there and you enjoy the game. You don't get any kind of humanized experience. You just watch the game, leave, and they hope that you come back next time. It's basically the same concept. Even though the league's marketing approach is locally driven around cities and local areas where every team plays, the NBA itself is a global powerhouse. The NBA's focus on a team in a state or city is just a simple, small part of the strategy. There are too many different resources that they use to sell merchandise to fans all around the world. And now with players such as Yao Ming from China, Dirk Nowitzki from Germany, and Steve Nash from Canada, the National Basketball Association is starting to expand globally around the world by using the same concept and by using these players to represent these countries as they did over here. The NBA has profited throughout the United States with the same strategy now that their goal is to bring this McDonald's experience overseas. The game itself is known as being an American dominated sport by African American males, but over the last couple of decades, some of the premier players in the league are from overseas. This is the same strategy that has been used since the NBA has began. If players from other countries are playing, then other people from other countries are going to want to support them. The more international players we have, the more easy it's going to be to market the brand overseas. Basketball itself is played just about in every place in the world. Different professional leagues, different developmental leagues, and the NBA sends scouts over there to get the players to basically sign with other teams or get them drafted. In the last couple of years, the NBA games being viewed overseas in different countries had doubled to roughly about 220 countries televising NBA games. The NBA also used marketing partners such as Reebok, Nike, Adidas, and Coca-Cola to help market their brand overseas. This year, the NBA even took it a step closer to reach their fans overseas by having NBA teams scrimmage other professional-based teams from other countries. It was the first time in league history that this took place. Later this year, the NBA will host two regular season games in London with the Toronto Raptors and the Houston Rockets playing each other. This is the first time in league history that it will have a regular season game in a different country. Commissioner David Stern said that the strategy that was designed for this was to showcase American basketball and to give appreciation of what globalization has meant to the NBA and how the sport itself has inspired people from all over the world and it brings people from different nations together. Now, under the dimension that Racer talks about, the NBA's approach to marketing will fall under the nothing side of the complexity dimension. The strategy that is used for the NBA is generic because they're using the same concept in different cities and states, and now they're going to use it in different countries. The experience is generic. Under the spatial and the spectrum, I would say that it will fall under closely to something because NBA teams do have local geographic ties. For instance, Boston Celtics, who are located in Boston. Their name is Celtics because Boston is a predominantly Irish city, so they named the city the Boston Celtics. Their fans are some of the most faithful fans in NBA and all across sports. Period. So the team's geographic ties is very strong around that area, so it has an impact on the local area. Rice used the example of the automobile being as a temporal part of the dimension because the automobile that he used would be timeless. The same in the NBA. Certain players, teams, or even games can define an era. Example being Michael Jordan in the 80s and 90s, and the Boston Celtics and the Lakers rivalry in the 1980s. So in that case, it would make it a something. The NBA experience for most would be under nothing in the spectrum under the humanized dimension because experience is dehumanized. There's no kind of there's no kind of experience with a human or human interaction during the NBA experience. You sit there, you watch the game, and you enjoy the game. There's no personal experience to it. Now, under the magical dimension, the NBA game itself will fall under something into the spectrum because you don't know what's going to happen during the game. That's the element that makes the sport entertaining as it is. So in that case, we're making something. Though the NBA started off as focusing on local markets and major cities, their goal all along has been to expand globally. Their strategy that they use is still focusing on local areas, but the NBA Association focus is globally driven. The league itself is centered around strains of globalization. The marketing strategy on the Rice team will fall under the nothing side because the experience is generic. They're using the same strategy all over the country, and now are going to use it in other countries as well. That's my report, and I want to thank you for taking your time and enjoying it. All right, thanks.